Is this good? Okay, just let me know if I'm not loud enough or too loud. So my name is Dylan, and I wanted to explain basically why I'm here and why it was so important for me to join Indigenous people with the Black Lives Matter movement. Because unfortunately, our history has been whitewashed, and a lot of us don't know about the connections between our peoples. My family is from Jamaica. How many people, Jamaica, Caribbean, up in here? Okay, so in most history books, you'll find that they say the indigenous people of Jamaica, called the Taino tribe, were wiped out. And this is actually not the case. This year in Jamaica, they elected the first Taino tribe chief in 500 years. It's a big deal, with Jamaica recognizing its indigenous ancestry and bringing reconciliation and healing. The Taino tribe was the biggest tribe in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. So if you have family from Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Cuba, or Jamaica, you have indigenous ancestors. Fun fact. There are so many of us who are mixed race, biracial, triracial, and we don't even know it, and it's very important for us to know it. By the way, I wrote a whole report with receipts and references if people want to read it and fact check, which I'll post in the groups. The other thing that I really wanted to make sure that people understand about Canadian racism and slavery is that the first Black person who came to Canada was actually a free man and not a slave. He was employed by the French as a translator, and the first slaves here in Canada were actually Indigenous people. For 80 years here in Canada, the only slaves, the only people who were stolen, transported, and sold were Indigenous people, not Black people. I don't know about you, but I don't remember being taught that in school.
Nope.
Kind of a big deal, right? Yeah. Things that we need to know and to understand. Also, understanding that that means that we were slaves here on this land together, Indigenous and Black people. And that Indigenous people actually outnumbered Black slaves 2-1 in New France. And the reason why is because the value placed on human life was 2 Indigenous slaves to 1 African slave. So because they were cheap bastards, they decided to keep stealing people from this land and exporting them to the Caribbean and into America. So we don't know how much DNA is left in the descendants, but Indigenous people were there and did contribute to the DNA of many different countries. So again, many of us have Indigenous blood and we don't even realize that. The other thing is it's really hot, so I just want to stick to the points and get here fast. I really want to point out, because I see a lot of LGBTQ signs, trans lives. Can I see those? Can we hold those up? Because one thing that really bothers me about colonialism and what was stolen from us is the treatment of the queer community. In both African and Indigenous cultures, queer people were celebrated and not shamed. People could live openly as non-binary or trans, two-spirit. You could be lesbian, you could be gay. Those marriages were recognized. And in fact, those people were thought to be special, that they had an access to, that. Trans lives matter. Queer lives matter. And what has been stolen from us by Christian colonization matters. We need to remember who we really were, who we are, and remember the ideals that matter to our people, meaning all lives, all of our lives, and why joining together means so much for me, because I may look Black, may look whatever race, but I'm a proud triracial woman, white, Black, and Indigenous. And again, so many of us are. We've had enough stolen from us. The mothers of our nation both have cried the same tears. They have had their babies stolen from their arms. The fathers of our nations have cried the same tears. They have watched the brothers that they fought with taken away in chains and sold. We can heal, we can reclaim by standing together and fighting the racism that faces both of our communities. The only way forward is together, and that is why I'm here. Thank you so much for listening. Again, got a whole report. It's like 2,000 something words, so I'll post that with the references and you all can take a look. If you have any questions, come find me. My Facebook is open. Thank you all for being here and standing in the heat. Much appreciated.
I'm glad I went to Japan because COVID, but I really hope you have a good day. It's so cool. Thank you for hanging out with me and like. I have the instructions.
My name in my language is Kalundakste, which translates to he has strong roots. And I come from the Mohawk Nation of the Six Nations of the Grand River. I'm here to tell you the small prophecy from one of our nations. The Anishinaabe are the holders of the Seven Fires prophecy. So the first three prophets originally told the Anishinaabe their movements along Turtle Island, what we now know as North America, and their duty was to find food that grew on water. That food we know now as manumin, which is the wild rice. It's a very important staple food for the Anishinaabe people. Then the fourth prophet came with two voices, but in one body. The first voice said that the light-skinned people will come across the big water, and they will come with a face of peace. They will join with us in unity in sharing resources and peace and love. Then the second voice spoke. The light-skinned people will come over the big water wearing a face of death. And you will cause much destruction for you and your peoples. And the fifth fire was lit. The mind of the light-skinned peoples and the natural spirituality of the people of the Anishinaabe would come at a standstill, and there would be conflict. There would be promises given to the Anishinaabe by the light-skinned peoples. But if we followed that direction, we would come and find out that this promise was false. Which comes to the sixth fire being lit. Our people are sent to reservations, small reservations. The colonial governments installed, Canada and the United States, would send supplies to these reservations. But these supplies would often be rotten and unusable. Our children would be taken from our arms and put into boarding schools to be taught the way of the light-skinned people. And our ways would become illegal. Where we are now is in the seventh fire. And we know this because the animals are starting to become ill and die. Our waters are being poisoned and we can't drink them anymore. The forests, prairies, all the trees, all the medicines are unable to put out the air that we need to breathe, so the air becomes poisonous and foul. But a new people will come out of this fire, and together they will, with the remainders of the seventh fire, they will light the eighth fire. We will come back to our natural ways, a spiritual people. And this doesn't just apply to the Anishinaabe of Turtle Island. This applies to everybody that lives here now. Because we cannot change the past, but we can definitely change the future. We are the lighters of that eighth fire. If we cannot come together, then the ways that we are continuing now will destroy our planet, and in doing so, we will destroy ourselves. You see on a lot of our regalia, the colors red, white, black, and yellow. There's many teachings behind that, but those are the 4 races. And that's why they're all together, because we're supposed to be united. Many nations.
Woo!
We are many nations, but we are one people. Us Indigenous folk, we do carry this message loud and proud and strong, but we need your help to carry it as well. So I ask for your help. Help us light that 8th fire. Help us all come together as many nations, but one people. Yawa, miigwech, thank you.
Woo!
No more stolen sisters! No more stolen sisters! No more stolen sisters! We're all here together. What can I say?